All right. Well, I believe we are live now. If you got, it's been quite a while. Let's see when the last time I went live here. It's been a bit. Let's see. Last time I live streamed was 1 month ago. Okay, so it wasn't as long as. Wow, what date was that? It's about a month ago, a little over a month ago, maybe. Probably closer to 2 months. It's been a while. But and either way, welcome to back to the channel. Um, we're basically back at it again. If you've seen the previous live streams and um, well, okay. Anyways, sorry, I thought my phone was going off. So if you guys happen to go watch the videos before, we were working on getting funded from Topstep. We did successfully do that. However, in the last month or so of me trading or not being live, some things transpired. It's been a very roller coaster of a ride, and I decided that I'm gonna get back into the streaming to stream live because what number one, I guess the biggest thing is number one, I want to again want to be very transparent with everybody, and hopefully these videos can help other people get into trading and maybe not make the same mistakes I did. But also number two is also this is a really good way for good for accountability too. It kind of keeps me from doing any kind of recklessly trading. Um, and also, I guess you could say, because I could always go back and look at these trades. Um, and like for the last few months of me trading, yeah, I could have like I have my trade logs that I could show, or like where I entered, where I exit, and stuff like that. But I like the idea of having this like video because it's a video log of each how I felt about the trade, why I took like how I felt about it, why I took the trade, the results of the trade, how I could have done better on the trade, and how I could have gone worse on the trade, whatever. So just good opportunities to really hone in on the skills of trading and again just try to minimize the mistakes and basically just maximize our profits. So it is market open. I haven't done too much of pre-market analysis, so we're gonna go ahead and knock that out. It is our market's already open, but I'm not too worried about it. I typically wait for the first 15 minutes to 30 minutes, anyways, before trying to make any kind of moves or any kind of plays. Uh, but as you can see, we're on a new platform. TopStep has released their own personal trading platform through TradingView, but it's called TopstepX. Really cool platform. Since they released it, I love it. I think everything they did about it, everything they did on it was a great idea. It's very user friendly, and it's very trader friendly, I guess too. So got $50,000 balance on my account. Our goal that we need to do is to make $3,000 in profits in order to pass. We do have to do that over like basically do it over about 3 days of profit, straight profits, or the maximum amount of profits we can make in a day is basically $1,500 to stay within the rules. And we have a max drawdown of $2,000 total, or $1,000 per day. If we hit $1,000 stop loss, we will it'll close us out for the day. So we'll hop into the pre-market analysis. Let's see. So real quick, let's do our pre-market analysis before we make any kind of moves. So when I do my pre-market analysis, considering today is Monday, ideally we would do this before the market opens, but it's whatever. Still important to do it. That way we can get an idea because there's always going to be trade opportunities, but we'll just have to wait for them. So what I like to do is I go to the daily time frame, just to kind of give us an idea. Actually, for I think I let me delete all my drawing so you can see exactly what we're doing here. Drawings, delete. There we go. All right, so we're on the daily time frame. So this is basically what we're looking at for the S&Ps. Um, so initially, just looking at everything, my first things I like to start marking stuff up, just kind of get some levels. First thing I'm going to take note of is this little this level of support right here. Um, Obviously, if you look at it, oh, we're lagging a little bit. Over a long period of time, things just been going up, going up, going up, going up. We had a nice little pullback here on the daily time frame down to this level. So this level is the bottom level is 49.6350. 49.6350. Perfect. So we're gonna put our little line there so we know that that's just a level of support. Very strong level of support. So it dropped all the way down, dropped all the way down, or was going up, made a pullback, and then continue its the upward pattern. So just a very good, very good notice point of support. It's a long ways away from where we're at. So if it ever comes into play, it'll be a while. We'd have to have a lot of bad things happen in order for this to come into play. But it's just something I like to notate for the dailies. Um, and then let's see. So as you can see, we're on a nice little uptrend. Um, I don't really use trend lines in general, but I do just kind of like to. I don't use trend lines as far as to use them to make trades, but I do like the idea of having them just to kind of give me an idea of the overall trend. So if we put this one, start there, and this one should be on this lower one, 205.50. Sorry, this thing's going a little slow. 205.50 is my mark here. 50. And I think this was 63. So then we'll make it green. So like I said, I don't necessarily trade off of it, but I do like the idea of knowing what the overall trend is, so I can know I'm pretty much trading with the trend. And depending on what kind of bias you have, whether you're a bull or a bear, I mean, always trading with the trend is always a good way to go. But then it also comes down to what time frame you're on, how long you plan on staying in the trade, how much you're willing to risk, and all that. So it's just, I don't know, like I said, just like to have a general idea of where the market's going. Right now, we have a nice little uptrend forming on this previous trend after we broke this downtrend. So just to notate too, we'll go ahead and put our top level of resistance here. So if we zoom in closer to these last few days, we are in no man's land. We are in all-time highs. So let's see, highs 1950, 1775. So I bet you we'll put one at 1950, so we know that's like our highest. You have to put in here 1925, put 1950. So we know 1950 is our absolute highest that we've gone. So just notate that. That would act as a nice level of resistance. Um, but we don't really know too much information yet because we're in kind of no man's land. Um, let's see. So that's our daily time frame. I don't do too much on the daily just because I trade. It's day trading, so I trade more on like the 15 minute, 5 minute, sometimes a 30 minute, just depends. But the daily again just gives me a general idea of just showing me what we can expect, or I like to look from the top down. So all right, so now that we did that, so we have our level of support all the way down here, level of resistance all the way at the top, uh, and then as you can see on our daily, so according to our daily time frame, we are kind of in the overbought territory according to RSI, and the MACD is starting to fall down. Looks like it's about starting to flatten out. So that could mean that we could see a little bit of drawback, a little bit, and that would also make this trend line kind of come into play. Um, to maybe do a small pullback to decide if we're going to go continue going on our uptrend, if we're going to fall back just a little bit. Um, Things seem to be going pretty well, I would say. So I can't, unless some drastic crazy news comes out, I can't see us really falling back down into a downtrend. My personal prediction is I think we're just going to see this thing slowly just grind its way up to make all-time highs as we get better news. Interest rates potentially getting cut eventually this year, maybe. We'll see how that goes. So moving on, and again, we are trading above the MA 50 and well above the MA 200. Those are just acting as level of support as well. So moving down to the 4 hour time frame, just kind of take a look at it. Nothing much really changes, but just want to get it kind of. I always like to look at it. We have a nice little gap here. That is one thing that we can probably should pay attention to is there is a nice little gap right here that actually hasn't been filled yet. So if we're playing the gap rules, we're gonna put a box here, rectangle. That's interesting. I'm surprised we didn't fill that at all lately yet. So low is 98.75. Okay, it's already on there. And then put it down to the close on this one, 75.25. So we'll put one more point down. All right, so that's our style, extend right, extend left. And then we're gonna make this, I like blue. And we're gonna put text. I always like to label these things just so I know the more information you have, 4 hour gap. Then we're gonna put that on the right, top. All right, so then we have that here. Again, I mean, the more information you have, I think the better. Just things to know. Do things always play out? No, not always. Nothing's ever 100%. But that is just something to like. Again, this is the whole point of doing your pre-market analysis is just understanding the possibilities of what's happening. Like, where could we go? Um, Again, being that we're at the all-time highs, downside is likely because we're sitting there at the all-time highs. And again, knowing that we have a gap down here that hasn't been filled, that's a pretty strong sign that we could get it to fill. It's not. It's almost like it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It could gradually make its way down over the week or maybe even next week. Um, but just know that on the 4 hour time frame, we do have a nice gap right here from in between this little range here. Um, so at some point, I would expect this to come down here and try to retest this thing. RSI is coming down on the 4 hour. We already got a crossover on MACD. So that's it. Those are two good signals for a downside potential. And then, so being that the MA is right here at 435, could see it possibly kind of move back down here, see if it acts as a level of support, um, or if it breaks through and goes and fills the gap. So nothing to really kind of do too much there. That's a good notation of the gap there. We're really just looking for what we're gonna like. Again, overall, what we think what should be happening. And then let's go down to the 1 hour time frame, and looks like we are sitting on our moving average, and that's acting as a support. Could potentially see it break down, which that actually does look pretty possible. If we break through here, potentially could see this come all the way down to the our 1 hour moving average, 200, which is 432. It's quite a drop right there. The 60-point drop. Yeah, so this is all coming down. Let's see what this thing looks like. One thing I do like about Topstep is how much you can move everything. Like you can move all this however you want. Move this. I think you can move this way too. Makes it a little bit easier. That's just, I mean, that's TradingView's platform is what they're on. So, actually, real quick before we move on, just so we have to the day, uh, one thing I do like to kind of notate is our range for the last day. So on Friday, this is our Friday range. I'll put a box here. Put a box there. So high 507.75. 62.50 is our bottom. Okay, so this thing, we're gonna change the colors here. Do maybe green. Ooh, I don't like the way that looks. Okay, so basically the green one is gonna be our previous day range. So we're gonna mark it previous day range. Okay. All right, so we got that in there. We'll go back down to the 1 hour. Um, so we know again. So knowing that this was the previous day range here, we could potentially see this thing. These will act as levels of again. A level. This looks like it's not wanting to go up. Um, it basically. So what we have here is this thing came up, rejected down, tried to push back up, couldn't do it, came back down, consolidated a little bit, pushed back up, fell back down even further. So lower low, push back up, lower low, push back up, lower high, lower low, push back up, kind of a lower high. So we might be due for a lower low if that trend continues. So looking at the 1 hour time frame, our bias right now would be definitely be short. That's a good thing to notate. Um, and our range, like I said, from the previous day is the green. So we're in a nice range. So ideally we could see this thing fall down. Knowing that we have this trend going on right here, we could see it may create a lower low. Um, then let's see, which potentially would be kind of right here before this will. This is like a small demand zone right here. We're gonna change the color of this one. Make this one yellow. Yellow. So this is kind of like a little demand zone that we had here before everything just shot up. Um, so that's a potential spot that we could see this thing come down, reach into this area, and then maybe come back up. So if we were, it's kind of just like a side note, if we were playing like a longer term play, will like had the ability to sit and let this thing work. Right now, short would be a great opportunity. Like based on the 1 hour time frames, a short opportunity would be great. We could take an entry here um, because it rejected off. But the thing is, this is where the long higher time frames are important because if we were to do um, a risk reward, so you go short position. If we were to say we entered right here, and then our stop loss would be slightly above this previous one. that would basically invalidate the trade. But then our expectation is for it to say come down to this level here. That's about a 1 to 2 ratio. So if it just barely reached into this yellow line here, that's a 1 to 2 ratio. So could it work? Yeah. Is that a good trade? Uh, a 1 to 2 is not bad, but that's where you have to kind of decide like what's your goal. Are you comfortable with risking, like, for example, if I risk $250 to make $500? That's what I'm looking at. And that's not even correct. That's actually wrong. Oh yeah, I guess it technically, yeah, it is. So it's 1 to 2. So if I risked 250 bucks, that means I'm looking to make $500 if this trade hits and goes down to the bottom here. Um, Potentially, if it goes all the way through and hits down to the moving average, could extend it. Now you're at a 3. So it's not a bad trade, not a terrible trade. Me personally, I would maybe try to find like a slightly better entry point, and that's probably what we're gonna do. So right now, not like right now, we're kind of biased towards the short side. We'll have to go look at the lower time frames to see like where this thing's going, what it looks like on the down, like in detail, to see if it's going to top out again up at this top range and then fall. So if, for example, if I were to wait for this thing to come back up, maybe get a touch in, maybe get a fill in right here, and then still keep my 250. We can even shorten our risk. Say we put our risk right here at the top level here. Now, if we go into this level, we're at about a 3, almost a 3. Yeah, so we're almost at a 3 if we wait for a little bit of an entry at the top, but we'll get into more detail on that later as we kind of look through. That's kind of what we're looking at. So right now, no matter what, we're looking at about a 2 to 3, like a 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 ratio as far as profit opportunity on the short side. And on the long side, there's really not much to go off of because we are at all-time highs, just don't have enough information to really assess our risk. If we were to use this as support, our risk is big time. Like we'd have a huge risk right here. We'd have 30 points of risk, which is not good. Um, Especially if we just don't know how high this thing's going to go. So one of the things that I've learned and have tried to be more disciplined about is if it's not like there's sometimes I just trade just to trade. I don't actually put my essentially like establish my risk that I'm willing to risk, I guess you could say. Um, but I kind of just hit and hope in a way. I put in a trade, hope that it's going in my favor without really thinking about like, oh, what if this goes against me? I could lose a bunch of money, and that's often kind of what happens. So we're gonna try to be again more disciplined on it and limit our risk completely. So, for example, for this combine, like when the biggest thing that happened for me on my Express Fund account, or a little background for anybody who want like just kind of update. So I had two, maybe no, I had three. I've had three Express funded accounts, which those are the accounts through TopStep that you can actually get paid off of. However, when you get those Express funded accounts, they're a little bit harder. They make it a little bit more difficult to make profit, or you have to be more disciplined, is what it is. Uh, you can only trade with two contracts on the $50,000 account, and you have to make $200 plus of profit before or five at least 5 times, not five consecutive. So I could do it in like every other day. I could make a win, have a loss, have a win, have a loss, have a win, have a loss. But basically, once I get to that fifth day of wins, you can get a payout. So what had happened was I would get so close. I would get to like 3 days of profit, lose some money, or and then 4 days of profit, lose some money. But the problem was my losses, I kept letting them get away from me. And the reason that is because I wouldn't fully define my maximum risk that I was willing to take on that trade. I was kind of, it was one of the things where I put a trade in. I was like, oh no, it's going against me. Let me size into it, put more at risk, hoping that it went in my favor. But there's a lot of times, and obviously, like, there's times, and I'm always one. I'm like, dude, this gotta work. It's gotta work. It's gotta work. It's gotta work. But the truth is, like, sometimes it doesn't work. And the problem is like when it go, if you're not disciplined enough to close the trade at your stop loss, then that's when you hit your $1,000 stop, your $1,000 maximum loss per day, and it puts you in a hole. So every time on my express fund accounts, I would get so close. I'd get like a day from having profits or having my fifth day of profits. The problem would be is my account balance would be negative. So even if I hit my fifth day of profits, there was no money to take out. So of course, greedy me and like I wanted to have money take out, so I would try to make some bigger plays, hold things a little bit longer to hope that they would play out in my favor, and unfortunately, they just didn't. So, uh, yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. But that's why we're gonna do this. Try to be get ourselves to be more disciplined on trading. Wait for good opportunities, and again, hopefully, we get paid out. Um, the first time I passed one of these accounts, I mean, I've I've done pretty well. It doesn't, I don't want to say it's easy, but now that I've kind of got an idea, I've gotten better as a trader. I've been able to make these trades pretty easily and try and pass the accounts. It's transitioning from the trading combine to the express funded account. It's just different levels, and that's also why I really do enjoy or appreciate the Top Step crew because it really has made you. I mean, it's forced me to be a better trader. Is really what it is. I can't just, excuse my language, but I can't just bullshit around, push some buttons, and hope that it goes in my favor. I have to. It's made me again be more disciplined with what I'm doing. Um, I've had some winning days. I've had some losing days. I've had some really nice winning days, and I've had some losing days with $1,000. But if I have no, if there's no consistency, then there's no way I'm going to be profitable. That's just the way it is. Um, so that's what we're going for, consistency. Obviously, today we're starting a brand new account. We need to make our goal when we're doing the trading combine is to try to get as close to $1,500 in profit a day. That way, essentially, it makes our days a little bit easier to if we do 15 if we do $1,400 today, $1,000 tomorrow, that leaves us only $600 of profit that we need to make to finish out the combine. So that's always kind of our goal is just try to get as close to $1,500 of profit as we can. If we do that, that just puts us in a nice little spot. So that's what I found has been kind of the easiest or the quickest path to success. Is just, or like I said, or if we do a trade and it gets us to $1,000 in profit, that's good because I mean it puts us basically on track and on pace to finish it in 3 days. That way we could potentially get our trading combine account but before the end of the week. Um, Another cool thing is TopstepX is always looking to, or TopStep in general is always looking to make improvements in their platform, always looking improvements to like listen to their traders. And they've actually made it super easy, super simple to get your Express funded account. So before you, when you pass your trading combine, once the market closes, you get your stuff like they'll send you an email. Hey, congratulations, you got fun, or you've passed your combine. You pay your activation fee, and then you have to wait like a day or two of visit, 1 or 2 business days to actually get your account information. But now they've streamlined the process, so you literally can once you pass it, you pay your activation fee, and then like within seconds, it's updated to an express funded account. So that's very really cool. So let's say today's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday we have a good trading day. We finish it. We went. We hit our profit target. We close out the account. Basically, Thursday morning we could be up and trading on our express funded account. only because you have to wait for the obviously you have to wait for the market to close in order for them to validate that you passed your account. Um, so as soon as Thursday morning, I could be up and running. Technically, technically Wednesday evening, I could be up and running after they validate that I've passed. But either way, point is you can start trading immediately. All right, so enough of me talking or enough of me blabbering about. Let's go ahead and we're gonna keep looking at our charts here. See if we can find a trade opportunity. Uh, looks like looks like this 93 level has actually created a nice has acted as a nice little level of support on the 1 hour time frame. So we'll kind of be looking to see if this thing is going to break down and fall out. Like I said, we had we had touch, touch, touch. Every single time it touched this line up here or tried to touch the line, it fell down. Touched again, fell even further. Tried not really fully tried to touch up again, but tried to push up. Didn't quite get up there. Fell even lower. Tried to come back up. Tried to get up here, and now we're going to try to see if it continues the trend to fall back down, or if this is going to be our bounce. If we had boom, boom, bounce, and then we're going up. So let's go look at the 30-minute. Looks like MACD's kind of going down. We already crossed over the midline. Um, RSI is starting to kind of curl up a little bit. Lots of volume in that first 30-minute candle, or in the yeah, and then a huge fall off on that candle. We still have 20 minutes, so that could be a false signal there. But yeah, it all kind of looks very similar. So right now, what's happening actually is we fell through VWAP, we fell through the moving average, and it looks like it's retesting it now. So this could potentially be either a retest or this could be us basically, let's say, just bouncing. What we would need to look for to see if it's going to break VWAP or try to retest this top side again. But basically, just kind of that little signal, this little candle right here is a little bit concerning because that means the buyers they didn't know where buyers and sellers weren't sure, and then this one's showing that buyers have taken over. So, all right. So everything kind of still holds fine as far as our trading setup. Um, this is all going to be about managing risk. Let's see. Everything kind of holds true. Everything kind of just bounced off of here. These are our levels here. Um, do we have any news today? It's one thing I didn't check today. Economic calendar. Today we had Empire State Manufacturing, Patrick Harker speech at 1. That's 12 o'clock. Okay, so nothing crazy. Uh, got auto sales tomorrow, retail sales tomorrow. A lot of feds are talking tomorrow. Yeah, initial jobless claims on Thursday, and then Flash US S&P Flash US PMI on Friday. That could be something, but as far as today goes, nothing too crazy. So no bad news. With that, that could just be a reason for things to slowly just grind up and keep going up. So even if it's not a lot. So yeah, so we are going to try to look for a trade opportunity here. On the 30-minute, again, we fell through VWAP, kind of retested, fell through the moving average, came all the way back up, retested VWAP, fell through, came all the way back down. Now we're pushing back above. So we're going to see if it holds or if it's going to fall right back through. Um, That's just something to notate. So we'll be probably looking for more of an entry on the let's see what the 15-minute looks like. I like to go again. I like to look through every single time frame just to see because I don't want to miss anything. And just good to know like, hey, there's these different levels, these certain levels at different spots, just to pay attention to. Looks like Mac on the 15-minute MACD potentially going to be crossing up. RSI starting to curl up as well. We got about 2 minutes left on this candle. And then the 200 moving average on the 15-minute time frame is acting as a nice support. Um, so could see this thing push up just a little bit, but right now the if we're talking risk reward, trades is not like taking a trade here is just not worth it yet. Just because it's not worth it. Like again, if I were to take a long position, like let's say it did come back down here, I got a long position in here, and we want to do stop 20 to 40 or 20 to 50. Or let's see, we'll even do like yeah, just a 1. So if I were to enter here, it's not even like I would have to enter basically here in order for it to make sense. I guess it could be something decent if we tried to play it up to the previous day range. That could be a decent long position, but obviously we already kind of missed it. Um, so obviously just not a good entry point right now. So we'll just have to wait for another good opportunity. So let's just go. We're gonna go look at the 5 minute, see what it's doing down there. So everything on the 5 minute is very tight right now. All like the moving averages and VWAP and everything is very tight. So that's kind of we'll just kind of have to see what this thing does. So there's not enough information right now for us to make a solid trade. Right now, it'd just kind of be it'd be heavy speculation. My thing's frozen. This thing's struggling. All right, well, I'm gonna take a second. I'll be right back. Dude, I just realized that my freaking mic was muted the whole time. So everything I just said, just nobody heard anything. It's been muted for a while. Gosh dang it. Oh, dang, that's wild. I just realized my mic was muted. It's pretty funny, actually. So to say what I was saying, basically, um, I want to see the MACD starting to kind of curl down a little bit more before we fully feel good about entering at this level at the 503.25. Because it hasn't fully curled yet, I mean, it might be getting here. I'm thinking we're going to see this thing liquidity grab up to the tops of the 508s. Try to retest our pre-market high before we fully take a slide down. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. Just being very patient with it. This 503 is acting as a nice level of resistance. It came up, touched it, fell down, came up, touched it, fell down, and now we're kind of just hovering around in this area. Um, so, but again, so since we know this is a resistance or this is acting as resistance, uh, we have a previous day high, which is another kind of sort of acts as resistance, and then we have our pre-market high again, also acts like as a level of resistance. Not super strong, but just they are levels that we can consider. Um, where was I going with that? Oh, because of those there, I then kind of look at our moving averages and VWAP and everything aren't real. They're so tight that they don't really give us much information to as far as bias to a certain side. Being that they're so tight, we could go either way at this point. Uh, so that leads us to look at our indicators. RSI is starting to come down. MACD isn't curled down quite yet. Again, I would like to see this thing start curling down a little bit more, or at least flatten, get a lot closer to these levels, or get these a lot closer to each other before 100% being like, okay, now it's time to take a trade. That's what we're waiting for. Being that these are slightly kind of on an uptrend and still kind of moving the way up, that's where I think that we will probably see. I think we'll see it come and touch the pre-market highs before we see a sell-off. That's my prediction. And so that's why we have our short opportunity here. If it does push up here, yeah, I guess I got to go over everything because my mic is muted. So if we do get a push up here to our previous day high at the 508, we could see things kind of liquidity grab up to the 509, and then a previous movement was up to 510.75. That was a high of a wick that we had before. So if it does reach up to those levels, we're still okay. We're still within our risk management area. But obviously, if it breaks out and stops us out at the 513, then it kind of invalidates the trade. And now we went from basically a high, or if it breaks out here, that means we created a higher high. So that would kind of invalidate our trade and be over. But if it doesn't stop us out, we right now we're looking about a 1-to-6 ratio. That's kind of stretching it. That's what we need in order to hit our $1,500 profit. That's not necessarily what we are gonna what we expect it to do, but it's not unrealistic. Um, Only because if it does top out here, we get a good entry point. It has to come down to this level. If we get to this lower level here, that it would have to go create a lower low for us to hit our trade or hit our profit target. So we'd have to hit here, maybe hit the mid. This is our midline of our range from the previous day, and we'd have to work our way down to the 47.8. So we'd have to have a solid drop. We'd have to have about a 30, almost 40 point drop gradually. So that's why I don't think odds of it happening fully today. Uh, I mean, anything's possible. I will say that it's kind of a stretch. Um, but even $1,000, so even like a four. So I'm gonna even a 4 point, which would be $1,000, is probably more realistic. At least like say the midline, 4.5. So that means that's a 1 to 4.5 ratio. So if we're risking 250 times 4.5, that's 11.25. Still a good trade. That's probably a little bit more realistic uh, profit to expect because it's not crazy amount below this other one. But if again, if we're playing that, if we are continuing our downtrend to create a lower low, that's probably not a bad spot to take. It's probably not a bad spot for it to land. Right now, we are getting that push to the north side, like kind of what we expected. What we're going to be looking for, and again, I'm not going to just because it hits this level doesn't mean I'm entering the trade. Um, what I want to see is uh, I would like to see this thing press up and then show us some. Again, we'll be looking at our signals here to give us a sign that it's topped out. Because we don't want to just enter just because it hits that level. We want to have reasons behind it and have data that tells us, hey, this is a good trade. So looks like we could be getting there pretty soon. This thing's pushing 509.50. Shoot, I mean, shoot, like I said, and that's the other thing too. We don't necessarily have to get in right at that spot because if this thing is like basically what we're looking for is now is we're looking for a top out to see how high is it going to go, and if it's within reason. Like again, the 1075 was a level that it wicked up to before and then came straight down. So that's a level we could be paying attention to. See if it tops out there. Again, that would just kind of even then that would essentially try to that would I say minimize our risk. And again, would just be a really good entry point. If it wicks off of there, great. If it not, then again, we set our risk, and if it hits our stop loss, it hits our stop loss. This is part of it. Right now, we're only looking for a 200. We're looking for a $250 worth of risk. That's kind of our game. That's going to be our game plan going forward. Is just wait for those opportunities. That again, maximum risk is 250 because we're only going to trade with one contract, and just get really good at trading one contract and finding those opportunities. If we get consistently good at finding those opportunities and waiting and making money with just one contract down the road, we can repeat those and maybe get even heavier into the trades and make a lot more money. So we're just gonna wait. I'll be right back. All right, didn't miss much, but it's kind of cool to think to see this thing do what you kind of expect it to do. Kind of cool. That's one of the things that kind of comes with just like I guess time and experience. There's no way to like study anything for to understand this or kind of make these predictions, but I think it just comes with you take enough losses and you analyze why you took that loss or what happened, and you come up with an answer or a rhyme or a reason, and then you can kind of use that towards your decision making on other trades. So again, this is where it's kind of gonna be interesting. So we on the 5 minute, our RSI is starting to get to the point where it's almost to the 70, which would mean that it's overbought, which was be a signal to start looking for a short opportunity. Again, we're going to be looking for a top. We're trying to find a top here. We're not necessarily going to buy in as soon as it hit this level. Uh, I want to see this thing top out. The question is, where is it going to top out? This thing is pumping, pumping. This would be jumping in front of a train. Don't necessarily want to get in yet. Could we have gotten in? Yeah, but as much as this thing is pumping up right now, again, I don't want to step in front of a moving train. This is essentially what this is. This is where we're going to kind of see if the buyers are strong enough to hold this thing up, or if the sellers are going to step in and keep this thing push it back down. Again, this is one of those situations where all of our indicators and everything are against the idea of a short opportunity. So, but they're getting to the point where we could see a short opportunity. This thing is moving. I think remember the 1075 was that wick level. We could see this thing top out here. Wild, man. See if it can push above it. It's got we got a lot of volume stepped in right here. Lot of volume stepped in. So what we would like to see is the volume to start falling down. So I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna put a line here to remember that this was a level that we saw before. Should we go short? Do we go ahead and take it? It could come right back down. All the buyers are there. We're at our level. We got our defined risk. Let's do it. Oh, wait. Oh, see, as soon as I say that, it freaking goes up. That's funny. Let's see what this candle does. That is wild. That is a crazy amount of buying. I mean, it's still right at this level that we were at before. It hit our previous high. We basically just tapped our pre-market high, which was the 950. Just hit it again. Wow. And then now we're gonna hit our 10. Now we're about to hit our 1075. What the heck is going on here, man? That's wild. See, my thing is, I'm afraid of is this is gonna wick straight down. We could play it, but this would be like the definition of stepping in front of a train. But If you're willing to risk the money, fine. But that's why we set our levels that we're willing to risk. That is crazy, crazy man, crazy. Are we running out of steam here? That's the question. Are we running out of steam? Still got 2, 3 minutes on this candle. Let's see if it keeps pumping. Wild, man. So now again, what we're looking for is we're looking for this thing to run out of steam. If it runs out of steam, great. But we haven't had any signs that it is out of steam yet. So, and again, that was a lot of volume that came in for those three. This one came in. This one came in. So the volume did fall off. So that I mean that could be a chance that we could be running out of steam on this move. Um, but again, all speculation. We don't want to get too crazy yet. See, I kind of want to see what this candle does, how it finishes. Again, this 1075 was a previous wick that we had before, where it hit the level and then just came straight back down. So that's a nice little level to notate. If it, the question is it going to break out of there? So if it breaks out of there, then we're going to be seeing this. If it breaks out of there, we're probably going to see this thing go shoot up to the all time high, which is another 10-point move. We could take a short. It looks like it's having a little bit of trouble. Risk would be good. It's a good spot. And that's a huge, huge push. Just afraid there's not enough sellers in here to really to push it back down. I could be wrong though. 10 seconds left on this candle. So we are in oversold, overbought territory, which is the RSI is above 70. Nice little curl there, or like a little top out, flatten out there. Let's see what this thing does. See if it's gonna wipe out all the way back down. But as you can see, so volume is falling off here. So there's a lot of buyers stepped in, push this thing up, but it's slowly lose like volume's running out. So that's the question: is if the volume that's left over are they buyers or are they sellers? Being that we're at a nice level of resistance here, again, that's we're kind of pulling for the short or for the sellers to step in and regain control, but not yet. That's not the move that we're looking for, at least not yet. I don't think it's just going to completely reverse like that. But if this candle does kind of closes this red or this selling amount of selling off, that could be enough for us to start seeing this thing curl down and also see MACD start curling as well. Which again, that would make you feel a little bit better about this trade. But again, we are going to wait to see. I want to see this thing kind of give us some top out signs, show that it's done going up before we get into position. I think we'll now that we've gone up like this, I think we'll probably see this thing chop another minute, another candle or two, or kind of stay in this little range, and then either decide to keep going up or it's going to go fall down. I don't want to see what this thing looks like on the still going straight up. We could flip our buys and go long. Nice little movement on the 30-minute. Come down. Another move up. Fell out under here. Broke VWAP. Broke the moving average. And we may be looking the wrong way. Still got plenty of room to go on the 15-minute. Yeah, 15 seconds for this candle to close. Let's see what it does. See how it changes our indicators a little bit. Okay. Okay, starting to get a little bit of curlage down. Again, trying to find a top here. I mean, this thing is just pumping, dude. Again, we haven't really had any signs for stopping up top, so my dog wants to be let out, so I'll be right back and let him out. Okay. So, I mean, this is just one of those days where, again, we're just kind of waiting for a setup or for something that we feel good about. I didn't want to jump in front of something that I didn't think was good. So this is why patience. Sometimes the best thing you can do is not take a trade. And what we don't want to do is take a trade just because we feel like we're missing out. We want to wait. That's the whole point of having a strategy, having a using our indicators, waiting for those opportunities. Because the thing is like typically if you wait for those opportunities, I mean, there there's a reason why you call them opportunities because in the past you've had good success with. So, like for example, on this one, we had our level hit at 1075. That was a level of resistance that we kind of pointed out. If we would have went ahead and bought at that, we could have. It did pull back a little bit. We would have gotten like a $200 or 2.3 point move maybe. Um, but that would have been like again, that would have been kind of like okay, that's we hit that, we take a profit maybe, but that's not trading. Like that's not we would have hit our entry and then we would have let this see if it'll come down. We'd be getting very, very close to our stop loss, uh, which would be I don't know, yeah, we probably would have already been stopped out if we got in here. No, we would have a little ways to go, but we basically be again. It's not it's just it wasn't enough convincing data to be like okay, hey, this is a good opportunity. But RSI is starting to show out, so we're trying to. I guess the next thing I want to see is I want to see the MACD starting to curl a little bit. Which, if this thing doesn't go much any higher than this, then we should see that. Let's see what this looks like on the 15. So on the 15 minute, we have topped out, or we have gotten to this oversold. Shoot, we might just go short at 519. That's another 5 point move there. Others are just not giving up here, man. Point of control is at 495.50. I mean, this thing just freaking rallied out of here. So I think the whole idea of this being short, let me see. I mean, it's still possible because again, everything came up, went all the way down, came up, came all the way down, came down, pushed up again, rejected, and could come all the way down. So if you're looking at a big time frame, this is a big range right here. We have a big old range right in these levels. So still kind of valid if you're playing a range. Um, this would be the top of the range. Again, would be a good opportunity to go short because again, when it hits this level, it tends to go down, come back up. It basically goes to the midline, goes back up, midline, goes back up, all the way down. So if we're playing it as a range, that's what we have to kind of define. If we're playing it as a range, then buying it up at the top here or going short at the top here is probably not a bad deal. Again, if it the only thing that would basically invalidate it is if it broke out of the range. And right now, my risk is not high enough out of the range for it to feel to be good. Hmm. 30 seconds left on this candle. This candle closes kind of where it's at right now. We should see the MACD starting to curl down a little bit. Um, so if that's the if I mean if that's the case, then we might see it push up just a little bit more. This is where I think we might feel that liquidity grab. I think we could see it go touch up at this line, and then wick all the way down. So starting to flatten just a tad, not quite where we want it yet. Um, see what this thing does. Might start looking for an op entry here. So 10, 15, 25. 1525 is right here. That's our high of the day. That's what I'm thinking. 16 maybe. You can't really see all the way up on the 16 above that, but that's what it is. Have to get level 2 data for that. I think so. This is what we're gonna do. Um, our max our max loss for the day is gonna be 500 bucks. Um, so we're gonna do. I'm gonna start in with one contract for 250. If it goes a little bit against us, we might average down or average into it. But our max loss for the day is $500. That's all we're gonna risk today. So if things go against us, then it's whatever. Right now, this little 5 point move. Oh yeah, I guess that's all it would be. So 5 points of movement is basically $500 worth of risk if you're using two contracts. So, and if you're basically using one, it's only 250. So we're gonna start with one contract. If it starts going in our favor, great. If not, we may average in to kind of and again keep our stop loss at $500. I think my video camera's froze again. I wish there was a way to refresh it. Dude, this computer is not meant for this stuff, so bear with me. We're making do with what we got. Okay, we got about a minute left on this candle. Does look like we are potentially seeing this thing kind of turn around. We might be getting our turnaround that we're looking for. So we got a nice little pull, pulling back just a little bit. What we don't want to do is jump in and speculate that this thing's going to fall out right now, because that's how you easily get That's how you easily get screwed out of some profits. If this starts falling right now, then unfortunately we just missed it, and that's just part of it. But again, I'm still kind of favoring the fact I think this thing's going to move its way. I think we're going to see this thing move up to the top end here, and before we hit it, before we take a slide down. Again, I could always be wrong, but I'd rather be wrong and not risk any money. So, and then be right than lose money. But volume is kind of trending off a little bit. Uh, so that's something to pay attention to. Again, I kind of want to see this thing pop up. If it kind of makes a move back up here, I think that's where we'll enter. I will say, things are starting to look a lot better for us. We got RSI coming down, MACD starting to get closer and flattening out, potentially crossing down. Um, so could this be a good entry point? Yes. But for me right now, again, I think the risk to me is just it's too much risk. Um, right now, because if I were to enter here, I basically would have to see this go like our stop loss would be very tight to where we are. And especially knowing that we still have the potential for this thing to go up and touch the top here of the range. So again, I'm siding on on the side of caution on the fact that I for some reason I feel like this is one of the situations where if I were to go short here, I'm gonna have that feeling that there's gonna be a liquidity grab, it's gonna stop me out, and then it's gonna go down and go in my favor. So I'm kind of anticipating that. And if it doesn't, again, I'd rather be wrong and not risk any money than be wrong and risk money. If that makes sense. I'd rather be wrong and miss an opportunity than be wrong and then have money in the game and lose. So, do I think we're stalling out? Yeah. And remember, this was a previous level of resistance too. So it broke out of it, trying to retest it a little bit. May see some again. I still think we have a little bit of upside movement to be had before we fully decide to sell this thing off. Mm. Mm. Maybe we'll get like an upside down W. Kind of do a little one of these things, kind of move its way up. Boom, touch back up here, and then whoo. That'd be nice. See, hasn't fully crossed over yet. We are getting closer and closer, which is what I like to see. Not fully there yet. Well, so while we wait for that, I'm gonna go heat up some food, and I'll be back momentarily. Right. Just chilling, waiting. Got us some food, waiting for this thing to go. I guess what I'm waiting for is I want to see this thing kind of retest this top part. See if this is a pullback for it to keep going, or if this is a pullback because buyers are starting to lose. All right, getting our push up. They're getting closer and closer. RSI is kind of chilling. Yeah, I think we're getting closer and closer. Here's another reason why, like, if we were obviously, let's say I got on here a little bit late today, but so typically we want to get up here, start looking at it like around 7:30, 7:45. If we would have done that, we could have established some kind of idea what's going on here, and maybe could have caught this trade early for the upside. Seen this come down, seen it kind of bottom out, and I think our indicators probably would have told us the same thing. Indicators we went down. I don't know if it'll show it on here, but MACD did cross up kind of around this point here, which would have could have been a good sign. So we got sold off, bottom, got a cross up. Could have been a good sign for an upside movement. I guess if we are only trading one contract, we could easily extended our risk to the 40. So that'd be a $500 loss. So 503, that's $1,500, I think. 1 to 3. Oh, that would mean that we'd have to. Is that right? 3? Yeah, 1 to 3. So we risk 500, we gain 1,500. I have food, so my dog is sitting under my desk right now, waiting for me to drop him something. Acts like he's sneaky. Acts like I don't see him there. What are you doing? What are you doing? Is that right? 120? Yeah, okay, that is right. So we could just do one contract and basically just if it goes back to midline, we it's a 1 to 3 ratio. If it breaks out above here, we hit our stop loss for the day, and then obviously, let's say if we only do $250, that would make our profit, or it'd be a 1 to 5, 1 to 6. Man, this thing's getting close. You're pathetic, dude. What are you stuck? Are you stuck? What? You don't know where to go? That was very good. What are you doing? So you can see. What are you doing? Waiting for some food? Waiting for some food? I'm not sharing with you. You're pathetic, dude. I am gonna basically wait till 11 o'clock, see what the 11 o'clock bell brings us. Um, I'm gonna go grab a drink. I know I keep walking away, but when this thing takes longer than expected, you kind of just click your nose out of there. Kind of get a little underprepared. So I'm gonna go grab a drink and I'll be right back. All right. Next time I'll just be more prepared with my drinks and stuff. Maybe get a little mini fridge. All right. So still chilling, waiting. Hasn't fully dropped down yet. We could be getting it. MACD. Ooh. Ooh. Are we crossing? Very, very close. Oh, we might be getting the cross. Could be getting it. We could be going short here. Again, this is a little bit more risky than we'd like to see, but again, I don't want to jump into something, but we are getting our signals. We are getting a good sign. I want to bank on one more pull up to the top before we fall. I think we're going to get one more push to the top. Oh, dang it. I need to move that back. I think we're going to get one more push to the top here. We could go. We could go long because it's not. Well, I want to see this candle close. If it closes and it crosses down, that's a good sign. But we may go against everything we've been looking at and just go long. We can still establish our risk as 250, basically be down to this level here, or probably be down to this level. But if this is just like a little up and then a little flag down, that means we could just see this thing keep going up. So I think we because it hit here, came back up, hit down here. All right, we're going long. Delete that. So our stop loss, 250 is going to be at 0575. Stop. Oh wait, we have to do a stop sell. $250 loss if it hits that, if it does break down here. A little bit against what we were going for, but I don't know. I guess it is what it is. So we are long. I guess I'm favoring the Bulls today. And in a way, I'm also kind of playing this move up to the top. 'Cause for some reason, I just have that feeling it's going to make a move up to the top there. So we go 5,950. If we at least touch the top again, that's a $437 profit. See what this 11 o'clock bell does. Again, we have $250 at risk right now. For basically, it's like a 1 to 2, almost basically almost 1 to 2 ratio right now. So we get up here to be about $437. If we break out, then obviously that's going to increase our risk to reward. So we'll just see what this thing does. It's one of those situations where I could be wrong, but then that would also make my initial guess right. But I think this just looks, again, I feel like this kind of just looks like a flag. It kind of came up, just flag pattern down, and then we could just see this thing could keep pushing up. Well, we would definitely need to see this thing break above this 1775. That was the previous level. That was a level of resistance before. I think if we break that, I mean, we could just see this thing run for the rest of the day, gradually go up. This is kind of just a waiting game to see what this thing does. We haven't fully gotten the MACD cross down on a close. It's flirting with it right now. But in order for me, like to me, it's like to validate it, the candle's got to close and it be crossing down. So we basically see how this candle closes to validate to see if it is going to have the MACD cross down. If that's the case, then we might flip it into a short. But right now, again, we're keeping with the long. And again, only because this kind of looks like it like bounced down, came back up, went back down to the almost the exact same tick, and just won't go any lower than that. So just gonna let this thing run. If this thing decides to run all day, that'd be crazy. That'd be kind of cool, actually. Here, 620, 120. So this is basically what we. Oh wait a second. Oh yeah, okay, we're at the right spot. There we go. Okay. So in order for us to hit our $1,500 profit, which is really unlikely here, we'd have to go all the way to 55.40. So this thing would have to just absolutely just, I mean, take this little movement and duplicate it. And we still probably wouldn't even get there. But that's okay. 520.75 would be a $500 profit, so that's a 1 to 2. Oh, got a new candle. MACD did technically cross under on that close. It's like even. So MACD technically closed the blue closed above the orange, so it didn't fully close on that candle, and it's still kind of in the middle right now. Oh, we're frozen. Uh-oh. So yeah, as far as closing the candle, it didn't close below. So upside is still kind of favored, valid on this. See if the volume picks up here, pushes this baby up, let it run. Failed auction here. All right, so we basically have our number set. I think I will say I do think that's a kind of a stretch for us to get all the way up there, but at least we have it set, and that's part of it. Is now it's kind of just like this is the, in my opinion, this is kind of the ideal trading. Like now, since I have my stuff set, I could technically walk away because my levels are set. I could, I found a trade that I felt good about. I got my stop loss set, I got my take profit set, and again, this is hands off. I could technically close out my screen, walk away, and whatever one it hits first, great. The only thing the one thing that they haven't done yet, and I'm pretty sure they do, but I just haven't figured out how to do it yet, is do the bracket order. So basically, like if this hits, it closes this trade out. I'm sure they have a way to. I think they're working on that, but that'd be the only thing. Is it like I know like if it's this order won't cancel itself out, or if that one hits, this one won't cancel itself out. So it'd be like one of those things like if you check it out periodically, make sure see where it's at, and if it hits whatever one, you close out the other one so it doesn't. If for some reason it retracts all the way, it doesn't make you lose money. Ugh. We need to basically for it to break above the 1525, which is our high for the day. We get a if we get a touch above that and get it to release, at least see it to that 1725, and it could be good. Looks like we could be getting that push here. If the sellers are gone and buyers just we should let this thing gradually go up, then we could be good. Again, 1525 is our high. So that's the level we need to break. Looks like we could be getting it here. And there we go. We touched above it. See if this thing can hold up. Just gonna keep climbing. See, volume is picking up. Let this thing cook. That's basically what we're gonna do. Again, our next kind of checkpoint is at 1725, and then of course we have the all-time high at 1950. So we would need a good amount of volume and buyers to push that to break that out of there. Which volume is picked up a little bit. Let's just hope that that's buyers and not sellers. Okay, waiting. Volume picked up a little bit on that candle. Let's see if it continues to pick up. If volume is increasing and this thing is just going up, that's pretty good. It should be good. Volume picks up, and this is the way we're going. That means we could see it break out. But again, it's kind of something to be patient about because if it doesn't, that means we could easily reject off the all-time high and come back down. But I guess for me, I guess now I'm pulling for a breakout. Again, no bad news, nothing really bad came out, so I guess there's not really much reason to keep this thing down. But on the flip side, I guess there's not much reason to have this thing continue going crazy up. So see, is it gonna go touch the 1950 or is it gonna bust right through it? Trying to go up, but So volume did kind of fall off on that candle. A little bit less, little bit less volume there. I don't know, man. Don't know, guys. This is the situation we kind of run into. Is like, okay, so we're in a good profit. This will be a decent trade, but it's like, do we let it roll? Do we let it rock? Do we let it ride out with the idea that it could just keep going? But like, is our risk reward too risky or like too much or too unrealistic? Because right now we're over a one. If we get above the 1950, we're basically at a two. Is it going to break above the 1950, or is it going to completely reject? Obviously, I'm because I'm long. I'm favoring the breakout, which would be really nice. All right, so we got a touch above it. I mean, that's the whole point of us having our stop loss down there, is to give us the peace of mind of that we can let these trades ride out. And then again, the worst case scenario is that we lose 250 bucks. If it goes in our favor, like and just keeps going, then we're good. I guess the other thing is just, oh wow, the other thing is just again just making sure we're taking our profits. But this looks pretty. Let's see, it's gonna come straight back down, or is it gonna keep going? So this is one situation where there's money on the table that we could take. Again, I guess we're kind of riding it out. This looks pretty good. I mean, it's a good, looks like it's a pretty clean breakout. So let's we really need this candle to keep pushing. What we could do is to put our profit at 10 at a grand, which is stop moving. This thing is freezing on me. 531. 531 is basically here. That'd be our $1,000 profit. This thing just gonna keep on pumping. There we go. We set it to 1,000. That'd be a four return or 1 to 4. Or that's thing. Do we? I mean, this is where the things gets this is where things gets questionable because you say, okay, I'm up $800, $900. Like, do I take what's on there and leave money on the table, or risk the chance of it coming back down and me losing money? If it can get up to the 31, then that's a grand. That'd be great. Let's see. We'll just let us see. See if we can. If it hits that, if it's 1,000, we'll take it. We'll leave it there. I don't think it's gonna climb. I mean, could it climb up to the extra one to the 1,500? Maybe. That's a lot. That's another 10 points of movement. That's the only thing. Do we let it ride? All right. If it hits this one, it hits it. If we'll cancel this top one. If it hits 1,000, we'll take our 1,000. Go grab it. Go grab my. Go grab it. Go grab it. We're gonna go ahead and close that out. I'm not worried about another $75. I don't care if it's it. Yeah, look, it probably would have hit it. But getting that close to a solid prop, $1,000, dude, I'm not gonna let that thing ride back down in the case that it does. So that's pretty dang good, man. So we waited all that time. Here's the thing: did it take us longer than we wanted to expected to get in a trade? Yeah. Um, But that just goes to show you that the patience does pay off. Having a good strategy going in does pay off. We used one contract right there. That's one contract that hit made us almost $1,000. We're up $922 on the day, on off of one contract. So this was goes back to what I was saying earlier: is if I get consistent with being patient and waiting for these opportunities, and these opportunities present themselves, and they prove to be profitable, then down the road, when I see an opportunity like this, instead of doing one contract, I could do two, or do three, or four, or five. That way, like at that point, I know I kind of have an idea of what I'm risking, a good idea of what I'm risking, and know that hey, you could like you're. Oh, I think I'm freezing. Let's see. I think we froze. Gosh dang it! I'm gonna have to do some remove. Yes. Add video capture. Okay. Cool. And we're big again. Okay. So, what was I saying? Yeah. So again, that's the whole point of us doing this is being patient enough and not just jumping into trades just because it looks like it's going a certain way. Like this whole day, it's funny. It's funny because the whole day I was sitting there thinking, like, dude, short, short, short. That's what we're thinking. But I decided to actually before anything, I decided to read and react. Is basically what it is. Um, the Everything was going up. There's no bad news. It came up, pulled down. We saw that this bottom, double bottom right here, which again kind of told me like, hey, sellers aren't really strong enough to let it go down. So actually, I'm kind of scared. I'll leave my what's it called here to kind of see if it does end up hitting my if it would have hit my $1,500 number. So this would be a good thing to kind of pay attention to. Uh, but basically what I'm saying is like, yeah, it's like this is good for the future because it's like, okay, you saw an opportunity, everything was going up, we got a pullback, we double bottomed to where the sellers couldn't push it down any further, so we went ahead and entered. We had our stop loss established, and we had our take profit established. So this is one of those situations where right now, as the trade sits, we basically had a 1 to 4 ratio. So we took profit. Um, Basically here. Took a little bit lower. So if we waited for the 1,000, it would have been a 1 to 4, which is right here. Which I feel like it probably would have hit it, but again, I don't. I'm not gonna. I'm not so attached to a take profit level, especially if it comes within $75 of it. I'm not gonna leave that on the table. Like I'd rather take my $920 of profit than wait and hope that that $75 hits versus it going against me and me losing, not having the $922 or whatever. So, anyways, so this is basically a 1 to 4 ratio trade. Pretty good, solid. I mean, and the cool thing is, uh, the good thing about a good entry is we didn't really even risk that much. This one we entered at 55 excuse me 55 1075 is where we entered, and the lowest it went was 509.50. So we basically, actually I could probably tell you. I can tell you just from here. Trades. So we entry was 1075, 510.75. So the lowest it went was 509.5. So the most we risked was 1.25 points. So at this trade alone, that's the lowest drawdown we had was $62, $63 of drawdown. So I mean, in my opinion, that's a phenomenal trade. Great entry, good risk to reward. And again, if this thing would have went against us, so that's why we have our stop loss. Um, if again, if it went against us, then it went against us, and the trade would be invalid. Um, but this thing is topping out perfectly, so I'm glad I took profit. I don't know if it would have hit all the way up. Could it have kept going up? Yeah, maybe, but I think this might be one of those situations where we had a breakout, a fake out, maybe. Might see this thing come all the way back down, but we're done trading for the day. All we need is one to take a good. One trade is good enough for me to take our profits. Um, what else? It's now 11:30, so basically made $900, and we started at 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, so 3 hours. So just over $300 per hour of work of sitting behind a computer screen. It's pretty dope. Um, so yeah, I'm actually kind of curious to see if this actually does end up hitting. I think our let me see what this thing's set at. Entry point, entry, 1175. Dude, this thing is so laggy. My computer is not meant for all of this. Oh wait, we are at 1075. That was our original entry. We had a 20, and we had 120. So I'm just curious to look at this to see if how this trade would have finished out if it does. And so it'd have to go to the 50. The heck, where are we? Okay, it would have to go to. Oh man, I lost my numbers because I'm not in a trade. It would have to go up to basically 55.40 or 55.41. Which again, now we're definitely in all-time high area. We're in no man's land. There's no telling how high it's going to go, when it's going to turn around. Um, but yeah, so we ended up wrap everything up. I'm gonna put in the notes here. We're gonna log this trade, results of it. Today's the 17th, 6-17, 2024. Entry long, one contract at 5510.75. Risk $250. Reward 4 to 6 or 1,000 to 1,500. Basically, just notating what we did here. Um, and then took profit at, we closed it. Exit price was 5529.25, which was a $925 profit. So our ending R&R would be 925 divided by 250, 3.7. So 1 to 3.7. So almost 4, basically what we said. Um, and then we're going to put max drawdown was 62.50. I don't know, I guess if that's risk reward. I don't know how else to put this, but I guess it would be risk reward again. Risk reward, based on the drawdown part, would be uh, 925 divided by 62.5, 1 to 15. We'll see. I'm gonna put in here drawdown to profit ratio. I think that's something that's gonna be interesting to kind of pay attention to is like your max drawdown on a trade. Because then, in my opinion, I feel like it might be a good way to track to see how well you're getting into a position. Like, are you entering at a good spot? Are you sniping the entry? Um, because if you can, and it's almost like timing it just right. So for me, basically, I timed it to the point where the most money I was down was $62, which is pretty dang good considering the trade went up to a grand, basically. So that's a 1 to 15 ratio, meaning yeah, meaning that my profit was way up here. My max drawdown was very minimal. So that's pretty nice. Bigger ratio on that, the better. That means your entry was just really good. Overall, good trade. Um, so we have our stats in there. Why did we take this trade? Why? Um, so what would be our reason for taking this trade? Uh, on uptrend, looking for short opportunity. However, we double bottomed at 75 was a low, at 509 or 5509.5, which was previous resistance turned to support. So to sum that up, basically, like I said, originally, so we can get rid of this one. I don't remember what this one was, but this was one of those levels that we were looking at that was like, hey, previously price did hit this and rejected. So this time we broke through it. It came back down, and it started creating a level. It was a resistance, and now it's creating a level support. The buyers and sellers weren't letting it go below this level, so it turned into a level of support. And basically, yeah. So that's where we kind of again we treated it as level support. Went long. If the trade invalidated, that means it would have failed, so it would no longer be a level support. It would basically be a break and failure. Um, so yeah, that's basically pretty much it. Um, and then we had the profit target. The reasoning we didn't really have much of a reason other than uh, okay. So anyway, so previous resistance turned into support. Um, all indicators trending up. No major news, so went with the trend. So those are our notes for this trade. If there's anything else I can think of, then whatever. But uh, what we'll do is I'll go back at the end of the day and see where this thing ended up. See if it would have ended up hitting my number up here. And make this little side note from there as well. Be like, hey, on this trade, technically it did end up hitting your take profit, or it would have basically just say like if I would have just left the trade, how would I have ended up? Would it have ended up hitting my profit target, or would it have fallen and stopped me out? Just to kind of have an idea. That way, again, next time, it's like if I start entering trades consistently where they hit my profit targets, then I know moving forward. Okay, if it hits like now, okay, I can have an expectation. Okay, I enter here, I can expect a 1 to 5, 1 to 4, 1 to 6, um, and basically just go off of that. So what's funny is this thing still didn't hit my $1,000 yet. So technically, it wouldn't even have hit it. It would have had to hit 31. It might hit it right here, but This might be the top of it. Anyways, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today. This one was a little bit longer of a stream. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you're watching this, please do me a huge favor. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave some comments down below. And hope this guys helps you out. Hope this helps you guys out. Maybe gives you, again, my whole point of this is give you some insight on what my thought process is. Also, a good way for me to document my trades, video log it, and basically so I can go look back at it and uh, just see where things can be improved, how I can like, and what I'm doing good, what I'm doing bad, and yeah, pretty much it. Things about to break out. But we're gonna close it out right here. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Again, we ended up $922. That means we have about $2,100 left in this trading combine, so we can pass it. Um, Again, hope you guys have a wonderful day. We're gonna end the stream now.